YouTube's latest shakeup is bigger than just ads. Oh, would you look at that? What's that on the side there? Huh. Might make a video about those. Okay, so YouTube recently made some changes. They were pretty controversial. Nobody asked me to make a video on it. I'm gonna do it anyway. Here you go. This video isn't gonna be in the usual, comedic style, if you can call it that. It's just gonna be talking about a recent change that affects quite a lot of people and saying what I think about it. Basically, if you haven't heard, YouTube's implementing a system where you can't monetize your videos unless you have over, it was 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. This is in contrast to their previous move, which was you have to have at least 10,000 views on your channel to be able to monetize. So basically, the bar has been lifted quite a bit higher. Before that, it was just, yeah, monetize your videos, who cares? And now this has caused a bit of outrage, particularly among the smaller creators, because that's who it affects. And now all round, I think it's a good thing. Like, hear me out, okay? I've seen a lot of people argue that it's very demotivating and very pushing the little guy down is what this is doing. And while that's true to some extent, I'll give you that. It's not, when you consider the positive and the negative of what this does, I'd say the positive outweighs the negative by far. And now firstly, I'd like to say that this YouTube thing, there are no promises. That's the entire thing. It's being your own boss. It's doing something that there's no contract for how much you get paid. There's no contract for if you get paid or not. It is just every man for himself. That's kind of what it all is. YouTube is a business at the end of the day, and they have to do what benefits them. And now I can hear people saying that that's not what I was saying during the whole ad crisis thing. And that's true, but there is a very key difference, and that is that the ad crisis affected people who were making a living off this, who this was their source of income, whereas this is just affecting people with 1,000 and under subscribers who are getting less than 4,000 hours of watch time. And now, I don't know if you realize, but that's not making a living, you know, kind of views, not even close. 4,000 hours is about 250,000 minutes, which, if you're getting less than that a year in watch time, then you're not making a living off this anyway, right? Now, I have seen people argue that it's more about the feeling of progress in having some number there for earnings rather than nothing. And I see what they're saying, right? I genuinely do see that, and I felt the same way when I was tiny, trying to make something of this. But you have to consider what's more important here, making someone feel a bit nicer because they're earning $1 a year, or giving people who make a living off this actually stable income because they need it. Like, it just seems like a no-brainer to me. It's always been hard to grow on YouTube, or unlikely to grow on YouTube. It's always been an uphill battle at the beginning. That hasn't changed, and I doubt it ever will. The first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube are the hardest 1,000. Everything's easier from there. So, I get what you're saying. And now, I'm not going to sit here like Keemstar and just say, just quit, dude. It's impossible. Like, no. It's difficult, but this isn't a job. There are no guarantees. That's kind of the beauty of it. The beauty of YouTube is there are no promises. It's hard, and you have to constantly be applying yourself, trying to find the next big thing, really. And if not earning $1 a month is enough to put some people off, then did they have what it takes anyway? Did they have it? If that's enough to discourage you, I don't think you are looking at this for the right reasons. If you want a stable income that's guaranteed, YouTube is not the place to go, my friend. Go get a job. A job's what that's for. You will notice that in most YouTubers, like origin stories and stuff, they started YouTube as a fun project and then it became their job. They didn't set out for it to be a money-making thing and have it be a money-making thing. Unless you're a toy channel. I mean, obviously that's not true for all of them, but it is a very common theme you're going to see, and it's true for me as well, right? Like, if we actually weigh it up, if we actually weigh up the good and the bad here, I think the good definitely outweighs the bad. Like, the bad is also hurtful to a lot of people, and it does screw animators and people like that over. I do agree, right? But if you consider what they're losing, and what the people who are gaining, right? The people who are losing here are the people who weren't doing this as a living anyway. A lot of them were doing it as a fun hobby or just beginning, not relying on it, right? And the people who are gaining from this, the people who are going to be getting more ads on their videos as a result of less people getting ads in total, right? If that makes sense. They'll be safer in the already established place they have on YouTube, right? As opposed to all the unestablished people who weren't relying on it. Now, I do see a possible criticism of my logic and my point of view being that I am the benefactor, and indeed I am. I'm well above the threshold that YouTube set, and I'm going to be gaining somewhat from this. And so as a result of that, it's easy to look at me and say, well, easy for you to say, Slazo, you're already well above it, you're already one of the, you're verified and every... What have you got to complain about? I've seen this kind of perspective come from people on YouTube and Twitter alike, and I see where you're coming from, but again, it is just a matter of weighing up what is gained and what is lost. I think more is gained, really. And I'm also seeing a lot of misinformation being spread about how small channels won't be able to have custom URLs or custom thumbnails, and things like that. That's not true. That is misinformation. You will have those things. YouTube's been answering questions about it on Twitter. Actually kind of helpful. Thank you, YouTube. And really, 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours watched over the course of a year is not that much. It equates to about, under 100,000 views a year. Which isn't very much if you're uploading actually somewhat consistently and about things that people care about. I understand that animators and people who put their time into videos are being screwed over more than most people, disproportionately, and I do sympathize for that. It sucks. It's how YouTube's been going for ages, just mistreating animators just getting screwed over, and it sucks. And I honestly think this is a tough but necessary decision to have been made. It sucks for a lot of people, but for the people who really need it, it's beneficial. Anyway, this has been a completely just ranty video. I'm sorry for that. We'll be back to the normal stuff soon. I hope it's been informative or enlightening in some regard. And I hope it's shed some clarity on the situation. That's all I hope to do. Anyway, Instagram and Twitter in the description, along with my subreddit for video ideas. Otherwise, just subscribe if you're new. That'd be great. And like the video. And without further ado...